I genuinely cannot see anything because the sun is so intense. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I would like to talk a little bit more about my master degree. Let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I would like to mention that I applied for a fashion degree, which is probably a bit different from economy, business, entrepreneurship, because we actually have interviews and portfolio. So I'm not sure if this actually is going on for each and every type of master course. I assume there might be some sort of testing or other forms of verification, but I'm just gonna speak from my own experience, so bear that in mind, please. When I was applying for universities, which was over 2 years ago, the whole applying process takes actually quite a long time, and it starts really early. So for example, in Poland, when you apply for a master degree, you probably send papers or apply like after you actually finish your BA, meaning July, June, no, I would say June, because this is the time when you actually finish your BA. So you basically start your recruitation quite late, when here in UK you actually have to start everything really early. For example, for me, I think the first deadline was by January, and I actually believe that it's also the same with bachelor degrees, that you really apply early for them. So don't hesitate. Literally straight after your last year at BA is starting, you need to start searching for your degrees, and you need to start thinking about what kind of course you're going for. You need to check all the rules, the application process, the deadlines, maybe open days. If you are able to come here for open day, I think that's always a good idea. I personally believe that if I was about to redo it all again, I would actually go for an open day and see how the university looks like, because that would give me the idea of what I'm dealing with, and maybe also you can tell by coming inside the building and seeing the whole atmosphere there, maybe speaking to your tutors, you can get the idea whether you like this vibe or not. So that's something I would definitely recommend you to. But I obviously also know that it's difficult for anyone to come to UK, to London, have a flight and everything. It's quite expensive as well. So I obviously understand that not everyone will be able to do so. So that's why it's always good to read some opinions, read some comments, and see the rankings of each university. I also want to mention that, especially if you applied for a bachelor's degree in UK, you are most likely familiar with UCAS system, so you apply through this system to universities. And I think one of the best parts of applying for masters is that most of them are actually not through UCAS system, so you actually don't have to go through this whole process of finding 3 or 5 universities. You literally have no maximum limit. You can apply to each university separately, and I think that's the biggest advantage, is that you don't really have limitations, and you don't really risk the situation that if you are denied the place in 3 top universities, you may be in a position where you have nowhere to go. There's literally no option like that, especially in master courses, because that's what I've been through. To be honest, in first place, just like, maybe let's put it out there, I didn't even believe that I'm gonna get into universities. It was so surreal for me that I was just applying, but I didn't feel like I am actually going for my master's abroad. It was just, it didn't just get into my head yet. So I applied for, as I said, many universities, and one of the basic thing that you're gonna have to do wherever you're applying to. You're gonna have to write your personal statement. And I will not really give you advices here on how to make perfect personal statement, because I am definitely not good at things like that. I can just help you a little bit with where you can find help. And for me personally, first of all, you need to have a Grammarly. It's gonna help you so much with writing anything, with all your little mistakes. It's a golden app. Honestly, you need to have it. And the second thing is, there are a lot of websites that help you with your application to some sort of universities abroad. So I know there's in Poland you have a lot of things like that. I think I used Smart Prospects or something like that. But basically they can help you with each step of your application. You can message them, you will get a sort of personal tutor, not even a tutor, you're gonna have a sort of person who's gonna help you with that. So I remember that I used their help a little bit with like student finances, and I also used their help with my personal statement. So I messaged them, I sent them my personal statement, and they messaged me back with basically all the mistakes that I did. And it was a lot because I didn't really know what should I write there. So I think that it was really helpful that they actually told me how to write it and what should I include into it. And even if you need to kind of sugarcoat things a little bit, or like say things that are not necessarily true, like, you know, you are always dreaming about it, or like whatever, like maybe not, you probably need to avoid these kind of statements, that since I was a child, not like that, but you definitely need to show yourself as a really determined and really focused person, the person who really wants to study and can do anything for it, and that why you're choosing this course specifically, what is your plan for the future. I kind of believe that you need to kind of show your personality. So that's what I did. I think I was actually fixing my personal statement and rewriting it and changing some things over the application. So I literally believe that each university had a little bit different version of it. This is a big advantage of applying for masters, because for BA, when you apply through UCAS, you need to have one personal statement that will go to all of your applications. So you cannot really change courses that you're applying for. They all need to be in the same category, because then your personal statement would not match the course that you're applying to, right? You're gonna have to prepare portfolio for fashion design course. I'm not sure how it looks like with other courses. I'm guessing you may need to write an essay about something. I've actually seen for technology course or some other management fashion courses, you actually have a topic on an essay that you need to write about, and you have like 5,000 words or something. So bear that in mind, that you may need to do something like that as well. If I was about to give someone the advice about it, I would definitely say that don't be shy to ask people about their opinions, because you may be shy to show your work, and it's a bit embarrassing to be like, oh, can you just read my personal statement, and you know that in this personal statement you're telling all these things, that I'm the perfect candidate for this course, or like I've always wanted, and you know this person who's gonna read it will be like, oh, what? Like, you know that it is a little bit awkward, but trust me, you need to start showing your work and putting yourself out there, because you're gonna have to deal with it a lot on your master degree, and that's something that I would really recommend you to do. The same with portfolio. If you're applying for art degree, design degree, show your portfolio to 5 friends of your course. Tell them to let you know what they think about it, because you may not see a lot of different things. You may see the composition of pages or like colors that you're using, and someone will look at it and be like, no, like you have mistakes here, this is asymmetrical, this doesn't look right, like I would change this and that, maybe think about this page, I wouldn't do this, you know, like really find people that could be honest with you and tell you what they actually think about it, because it's always good to have second opinion. That was my mistake. I applied for 2 or 3 universities with a really shitty portfolio, and it was so bad you have actually no idea. I don't know why I had this idea of making my background in like really bold colors, so I made my background to my projects in like red and orange, but it actually went terribly wrong, and I was using some sort of square pieces in the background, and I applied with this portfolio to like at least 2 or 3 unis. Of course I didn't get accepted, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't accept myself with this portfolio either, so keep that in mind. If I was about to tell you something about portfolio like real quick, if you haven't dealt with portfolio much so far, or you're quite new to it, or your university like mine didn't put much attention to making portfolio and you have actually no idea what to do there, I would tell you use white backgrounds, put your best work first, always have a title page with your name, and then always show your best work in first place, not chronologically ordered work from your first year at uni. No, you put your first work first, your best work first. You always try to be simple with it. I would tell you that mixing everything all together, what I did, is not really working well. It is good to show a little bit of research with a little bit of fabric samples, with maybe some mannequin drapings, but it is also good to have some sort of order. Let's say you're starting from research, you're showing the project development with some fabrics, swatches, colors, whatever, and you're ending up on designs or maybe the photo shoot of the collection or outfit or whatever you've done there. I would say that's kind of how it should go, not the other way around, because it's gonna get confusing. And it's also quite good to have some sort of titles or explanations what you're actually showing there. Like that's something that is also important. Let's say you have a project about, I don't know, illusion or deformation, write it there, like make a title, deformation project or something. You can either have some form of text with explanation, but also remember that portfolio is not about writing, it's a visual concept. You're showing your visual work, so don't write too much. But these are like a few pieces of advices I would give you. I can also make another video on what I've learned about portfolios, even though I'm not really great with that, but I can tell you a little bit about it after 5 years of trying to deal with this. So anyways, going back, you need to prepare your portfolio. Don't make too many pages, just choose your best work and don't think about it too much, just do it. Then you're gonna send it to universities, you're gonna send it with personal statement, and each university will also have a requirement about your English skills. So in most of the cases, you're gonna have to go through IELTS exam or some other English testing system. And don't make my mistake, and keep in mind that you don't have to pass this exam when you're applying, like, or before you're applying for universities. You don't need this in a moment, in a second you're sending these documents. You can send it during the holidays, after you get your place or you get your conditional offer. This is when you can also do it. So usually during your last year of BA, you're dealing with your whole collection, you're dealing with many things that you need to finish. So really don't bother yourself that much with this exam yet. I would recommend you to do it after you finish your all exams at uni, and then when you have a little bit more time, then sit down, practice your English. I mean, obviously it is good if you practice your English earlier. Like I went for a specific course dedicated for IELTS because I didn't feel that strong in my English. I had French over my uni and I didn't practice English much, so I just felt like I had to do this for my own self-confidence. But you really don't have to deal with it that early. Just give yourself some time. I would also recommend you to just surround yourself with English. So what I was doing, for example, I didn't really have that much time and energy to just sit and read books in English or write things down in English. Only the ones that I had to for this course, but I would, for example, sit down and do some design works, or I would sew something, or I would do other like manual things. And in the background, instead of watching Netflix, as I usually do, although you can watch Netflix, but watch it in English actually, I would usually listen to audiobooks in English. I listened to whole Hunger Games, I think. I don't even remember what else, but like quite a few books during that time. And I think it is also really helpful to do so. So I really recommend you to do that. Like surround yourself with English language. The next thing that you're gonna probably have to deal with is, apart from all what I said before, you're gonna need to go for an interview, or you're gonna have a Zoom call or Skype interview. And right, so in terms of uni interviews for masters, I had one interview that I had to be physically on, and that was a Central St. Martin's interview. So basically you would expect these interviews to always be video calls, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. So for Central St. Martin's, I actually got an invitation for specific days, and I needed to like secure the place. It was literally 2 weeks or 3 weeks before that, so that was a really short notice. I think it was like in the middle of April I got the information to go to London for an interview, and the deadline, the dates were on first 5 days of May. And I remember I already had some plans for May because we have bank holidays at that time in Poland, so I booked Airbnb by the sea, and I was like, how am I gonna do this? So I literally had this kind of interesting time of my life when I went to the Gdańsk, which is this by the sea in Poland, for 3 days with my friend. And then I came back. I didn't even sleep like 3 hours. I just had to repack my bags and go to the airport, and I was flying the day after to London, and it was my first flight of my life, and I was doing this all by myself, so that was a little bit scary, I must say. So then I went to London. I had Airbnb, I slept. In the morning I went there, and it didn't actually work like I expected it to work. It was not an interview, which was a little bit sad, I think, to invite people from all around the world probably to fly to London and not even talk to them, because they just wanted us to have some pieces of work with us, portfolio, put it on the table and leave, and they would just walk around and see it while we were gone. And to be honest, I already felt that it wasn't not going to work for me, because when I came there, and they required us to have one outfit with us and a portfolio. So, I was flying with Ryanair with this little suitcase because that's all I was able to take with me. My final collection was still in the process, so I didn't have it physically yet. So that's what I took with me. And then I arrived there. They told me to just sit on like this sofa area, like waiting area. And I can see these people coming with these huge suitcases, or like even 2 of them sometimes, with like full collections with them, like so many outfits. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, what am I even doing here? So that was really telling at that point, like what is the level of this university, because you could have seen that these people are not my age. Most of them looked quite older, like in their 30s, 40s. So that's kind of how master degree looks like there, I guess, but maybe it doesn't, I don't know. From my own experience, I already knew that it was not going to work for me. Alright, it already took me over 25 minutes to talk about it, so I'm gonna finish right here and I'm gonna do a second part. So if you're interested, please leave me a message down below and I'm gonna read it for sure. So thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!